A land of enchantment, sprawling mountains, deserts, and forests, all waiting to be explored. So we did that. We're climbing high to the tallest peaks and diving deep to see what this beautiful state has to offer. All year, through every season, we've hiked, biked, eaten, and relaxed through every corner of the state, with a few surprises on the way. We are celebrating New Mexico. I'm Todd Kurtz on top of the beautiful Sandia Mountains, one of the many things which makes our state just a sight to behold. I've spent the year on the road traveling many miles, and now I'm thrilled to be sharing my journey with you. Right now, I'm at 10,000 feet, and we're starting this adventure by going even higher, all the way to the top, to the highest point in New Mexico. This is Wheeler Peak. Well, it's always nice getting out in the outdoors. You can hear the birds chirping right now, the stream in the distant background. It's about a 4-mile hike up to the peak of Wheeler from the base where we are right now. We're at 10,200 feet above sea level at this point. And yes, once we reach Wheeler Peak, we will be at the highest point in New Mexico, 13,161 feet. The hike to Wheeler Peak is rated difficult, but the start is a nice, easy, gradual climb. It makes it a very popular trail. I met this father-son duo from Rio Rancho early on the hike, skipping their way up to the top. Aaron from Colorado was the fastest guy on the path. He has hiked all 58 14ers in Colorado. That's all the peaks above 14,000 feet.
We're hitting the highest peak in all 50 states.
And this couple from Denton, Texas. Yes, hiking all the way to the top of each state. New Mexico was their 4th state and the hardest hike so far.
I like how quiet it is when you get out there on the trails. And then the accomplishment of finishing a long hike and then getting back and being able to eat or drink whatever you want afterwards and not feel guilty.
For the first 2.5 to 3 miles of this hike, you have this nice, thick canopy overhead. Keeps you cooler even when it's warmer. That changes when you pass what they call the timberline. Once you reach 12,000 feet high in New Mexico, trees stop growing, the air is thinner, the hike gets harder, but the views are incredible. There are a couple of paths up to Wheeler Peak. The one I took starts next to the Bavarian restaurant at the far end of Taos Ski Valley. That last mile of the hike is an absolute bear, but I'm telling you, that panoramic view at the top, well, that makes it all worth it. From being at a point where you can see it all to focusing on something as fine as a grain of sand. Let's head south now to the gypsum dunes of White Sands National Park. Crazy thing, the sand is cool to the touch, even though the weather is often scorching during summer. It's full of history too. The world's largest collection of fossilized footprints from the Ice Age is at White Sands. Woolly mammoth, giant ground sloth, dire wolves, and American lions all there. Scientists just revealed the human footprints found there date back 23,000 years ago, proving humans were in North America thousands of years earlier than previously thought.
There has got to be tens of thousands of footprints here.
The story's just increasingly growing, and it's really, really amazing.
Park rangers hope to have a guided hike and exhibit ready by 2023 where they walk you through the story of the fossilized footprints. White Sands was upped to a national park in 2019. It attracts tens of thousands of visitors every single month. And one of those is my co-anchor and friend, Royal Day.
This spring break, we decided to spend some time in Ruidoso, a town that I had never been to. And then we decided to drive to White Sands. It's an easy trip from Ruidoso. And the thing I remember the most about it was when you first get into the park, it's almost like you're arriving on a different planet. Everything is just white sand everywhere for as far as you can see. And it's just this really amazing experience, surreal experience. And I have never been to White Sands before. I'm a native New Mexican, so I just wanted to start to explore parts of the state that I've never been to. And what an amazing experience it was. We got really lucky because it was cloudy, so there's not a lot of protection from the sun when you're at White Sands. So there was some cloud cover and it was perfect. The temperature was great. The white sand, the blue skies, everything about it is just this amazing, magical experience. And we took sleds, so we did some sledding down the sides of the dunes. It was a really fun day, and just something I will never, ever forget. I can't believe that it's taken me this long to get to White Sands, but already I can't wait to go back to this magical gem that is in southern New Mexico.
One of the more popular activities at White Sands is to sled down the dunes, but it works a little better on snow, and we wanted to honor our growing ski industry. So one thing that I absolutely love about living in New Mexico here is the uniqueness of our southern climate combined with this high elevation. For instance, we're skiing today, and on my way up here, I saw people playing golf. It's an incredible place to enjoy the outdoors. A beautiful day at Sipapoo Ski and Summer Resort, though they'd prefer a few more storm clouds. The area has only gotten a few inches of snow early this season. Real testament to the crew and snowmaking machines to have some runs open.
We hear a lot from folks who travel and ski other places of how friendly our staff is. And I think that just represents who New Mexico is.
The oldest ski resort in northern New Mexico, Sipapoo opened in 1952. It's a laid-back feel up here, but they do strive to be first open and last to close each season.
I hear a lot of times people are like, man, this is what skiing was like when I learned to ski. It's that combination of embracing the new technology, but yet holding on to that charm.
Ski resorts are such a big boost to our state's winter economy. A marker year, like the 2018-2019 season, set a 21-year high for visitors at the 8 resorts in New Mexico, more than 1 million skiers and snowboarders, and created an economic impact of $569 million. But a great year like that is so fueled by the snowfall.
Mother Nature needs to come help out, because if I'm not skiing powder, I'd like to be eating green chili. So Mother Nature needs to come give us some snowpack.
Well, let's stay on the extreme side. Our ski resorts are finding more ways to stay busy and make money during the summer months. For Angel Fire, its mountain bike program is now well known and well regarded across the entire country. Yeah, love getting out here on the mountain bike, and today we're at one of the premier downhill mountain biking locations in all of the Southwest, actually, Angel Fire Resort. And the cool thing here, there's no grueling bike ride to the top. You put your bike on a chairlift, you ride that to the top, and then it's all downhill from here. Here's some GoPro video so you can see what it's like going down. Angel Fire draws riders from all over the country. It's huge. They have 60 miles of downhill trails.
It is the bike park destination of the Southwest for sure, without a doubt. And even to a certain extent, the West, half of the US. This is the place to be.
That's Becky Cavalieri. She gave me a bike tour of the park. I did not go quite as fast as some of the other people you're watching. Looks fun though, doesn't it? Cavalieri and her husband actually just bought a place in Angel Fire for the downhill mountain biking.
I'm an East Coaster and learned to ride downhill out at Snowshoe in West Virginia at a bike park, and started traveling more and going to other bike parks. We spent 2 months here at Angel Fire Bike Park last summer and just got hooked.
And this is not just for experts. It's just like skiing. They have runs for all different skill levels.
They're investing so much into the park now that it's just getting better and better.
And if you don't think mountain biking maybe is your speed, you can just ride the chairlift to the top here. You get up there, you can do some hiking. There's a restaurant up there, disc golf, maybe just check out the beautiful views. Look at that, the Moreno Valley. It's about $160 to rent all the gear and the bike. Get a lesson with that as well. Did you know you can actually stand in 4 states at once? One of which is New Mexico. The Four Corners Monument offers this in San Juan County. It marks the quadra point where Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico meet. This is the only spot in the country shared by 4 states. Now, if you're looking to do a bit more than just stand, let's explore the sea ledges, canyons, and wildlife of Carlsbad Caverns. In the middle of the Chihuahua Desert of southern New Mexico, the park features over 100 limestone caves. Some of these date back 250 million years. 400,000 Brazilian free-tailed bats call the caves home. They sleep as you explore during the day, and when the sun goes down, dramatically fly out at once. Truly a spectacle. One New Mexico legend says all those Carlsbad Caverns passages can actually lead here, the Blue Hole. From scuba diving to just jumping in, this miraculous spot is 80 feet deep, filled with crystal clear water, and because it's spring fed, the water is always 61 degrees. Now that means a little chilly during the summer, but pretty warm right now.
I've been up there some Decembers and it's pretty darn nice. As long as the sun's shining, it's good.
And to be honest, that first jump into that 61-degree water did shock me a bit. After the second, though, I did not want to leave this gem in Santa Rosa. One part of New Mexico where you'll see a drastic temperature change is right here at the top of Sandia Peak Tramway. Still operating like new 55 years later, the 3-mile cable takes you up to 10,000 feet. Ron Burke made that journey.
My favorite way to celebrate New Mexico is to really get out in the environment and really soak up the nature. When I first came to Albuquerque, one thing that impressed me from the beginning was the Sandia Mountains. So impressive, and probably many people can say that. But I would walk along the foothills just to get an idea and a feel for what it felt like out there and really enjoy that. I won't say that I hike because that's a little more advanced. I'm not at that level yet. But I also eventually took the tram up to Sandia Peak with my daughter when she visited and enjoyed it tremendously, seeing New Mexico from a different perspective, from way up high at 10,000 plus feet. So that was something new and different that I didn't get during my time on the East Coast because we didn't have these kinds of scenes available to us there. Another way I get close to nature is I like to bike, and my favorite biking route so far is the Bosque Trail. I've done that. At times I've done the full 30-mile loop, but sometimes I'll do 10, 15, maybe 20 miles and just soak up the nature and enjoy the sunshine and hear the animals in the distance, birds chirping and things like that. And it brings me closer to this environment, which has been such a rewarding and exciting place to be.
The tram used to be the longest in the world. It's now the third longest, still the longest in North America. Time to relax. We're unwinding across New Mexico next, checking out our state's hot springs and seeing if they really do have healing quality. And there's more to the land of enchantment than relaxation, where you can hop on horseback. Plus,
wow, what a way to see Georgia O'Keeffe's world.
And it was a dream come true.
I'm not the only one celebrating New Mexico who had their own riding adventure when we come back. But first, some of your memories in our beautiful state. Welcome back to KOAT Celebrate New Mexico. I'm Todd Kurtz, and this year wasn't all action. Took a few minutes to put my feet up and celebrate tranquility in New Mexico's hot springs. Yeah, we're lucky enough here in New Mexico. We have 77 natural mineral hot springs across our state. Now, there are dozens you can hike to in nature or, take it easy on yourself. Find one of the many natural mineral hot spring spas we have in New Mexico. We're soaking at the Riverbend Hot Springs in TRC. The area is the mecca of hot springs in New Mexico. There are 10 commercial bathhouses in this small town. TRC was actually named Hot Springs before the switch to Truth or Consequences as part of a radio show contest in 1950.
The hot springs are very accessible. There's certain places in town where it's 18 inches below the ground. Here it's about 10 feet, so very easy to get to. And at one point there was 40 spas here in town.
Experts say we have a lot of hot springs because the state is geothermically active. Hot springs form when mineral-rich water percolates through cracks and fissures to the surface. When 15th century Spanish explorers found hot springs in what's now New Mexico, the tourist department says they discovered healing properties that Native Americans had known about for centuries. Some claimed they had found the fountain of youth.
Well, just being relaxed can make you feel younger and make you feel better. So absolutely, without making any claims, relaxation is very good for you.
You can find natural hot springs and spas like you saw in that piece all over our state. They have communal pools, private pools, all sorts of price ranges. From golfing to day spas or fine dining to lounging around the pool, Buffalo Thunder has it all. Anchor Doug Fernandez tells us how his story here is about more than just one journey.
What I love about New Mexico, actually, I didn't really know when I first saw New Mexico. See, I drove through here in the early 1990s, And I stopped in Albuquerque, spent the night, and I knew that this was a beautiful place. I said, you know what? If I ever had the opportunity, I'd like to come and work here. And then in the late 90s, I came through again. And of course, it just repeated and reiterated everything I thought about how beautiful and how wonderful New Mexico. And then a year or two later, I got a call about coming to work here at KOAT, and it was a dream come true. So getting back to the original question, what I love about New Mexico is being outdoors, enjoying everything that it has to offer, enjoying all the golf courses, enjoying the beautiful scenery, and of course, the weather, if you don't count the windy months, which have grown from March, April, and May to June and July now. I'll try not to play golf during those months. But I love being outdoors. I love playing golf. And of course, you can't mention New Mexico if you don't mention food. Well, golf courses, their food isn't all that bad. So I know a lot of people are probably saying skiing. A lot of people are saying, all the beautiful little towns and villas that New Mexico has. And yes, I love everything about those places, and I love visiting them. That's what I love most about New Mexico, enjoying it outside. Sure, it's great from the inside, but outside, that's why I love New Mexico.
Another one of our resorts combines vacation with an experience, and it takes me back to spending time on my grandparents' ranch in South Dakota. Saddle up, New Mexico. We're going horseback riding. Hey, I want to introduce you to my newest friend, Smoke. Beautiful creature, isn't it? If I wasn't a broadcaster, I think I would like to take up a new career in maybe a cowboy?
Yeah, maybe, but you might need new shoes.
Definitely would need new shoes, but I can pretend, and so can you too, at one of the many great spots we have around New Mexico where you can take a guided horseback ride. Today, we're at the Stables at Tamaya, a horse rescue and rehab center right behind the high-end Tamaya Resort.
The horses that we bring in, we hope to turn them around and make them usable for the guests to ride, and then they have a purpose.
That's the owner-operator of the stables, Connie Collis. Yes, every horse you see here was either abandoned or not wanted, and they trained them to be a gentle ride for you. An incredible experience.
If you've never been around a horse, it's an amazing thing that happens. Once you walk up to a horse, there's always this huge connection.
It's a beautiful place to ride. Just a short drive from Albuquerque, and you do not have to be a guest at the hotel. They take you on a guided ride right down to the Rio Grande or out on the mesa. Amazing views with the Bosque and Sandias in the background.
I would say 94% of the people that show up here end up with this wow. I feel different. And when you get on this 1,200-pound animal and ride them around, you feel different. You have to become a partner with them to make it work.
So they do rides out here year-round at Tamaya. It'll cost you about $120 if you want a private ride, 90 minutes, $90 for a group ride. They got a lot of options. Come check them out. And I'm not the only one at KOAT who was ready to ride this year. Shelly Rabando went a bit farther north to horse around.
I really love the peacefulness and beauty of Abiquiu. We try to go in the fall typically, and the last time we went, even just the drive there is majestic. I mean, I'm taking pictures the whole time, and there's so much to see every step of the way. And then getting there, once you're there, it's the perfect place. We've even gone horseback riding. Wow, what a way to see Georgia O'Keeffe's world. We took a tour one time and they told us all about, they showed us where Georgia O'Keeffe lived and all the cool stories that came along with her life. And you could really see when you look around Abiquiu, when they say that her work was inspired by that area, you just understand it in a whole new way once you're there. And the weather, the last time we were there, again, it was fall, but it was a warm fall day when we were on the horses. And it was about a 2-hour ride. And at first I thought, wow, that seems like a really long time. But looking back, it wasn't long enough. We could have just gone forever and ever, because just when you thought you saw the most beautiful part, there's something else. And we tried to grab as many pictures as we could, but we also were just really enjoying the views. They are so unique, and it's a really special place, and I just love to get back there about once a year. And ironically, the name of my horse, the last time I went horseback riding in Abiquiu, was Doug.
And I just got sucked in, and I just couldn't leave.
Walking through ancient history and stargazing. What could be greater? And history is all around New Mexico. The role pueblos, tens of thousands of years old, play in the unique places you visit. Plus, where you can get breathtaking views, art, and the best of New Mexico's culture, Kaylin Norwood takes us there as we continue to celebrate New Mexico. Welcome back. Now, to celebrate New Mexico, you need to celebrate its early people. We go now to the northwest corner of our state, to ancient ruins that still come alive every night. This is Chaco Culture National Historical Park. This canyon stretches tens of thousands of acres and was a meeting place for thousands of people between 850 and 1250 Common Era. And you can still connect with them when the sun goes down.
So when you come out here to see the dark sky, you're getting the closest to the reality that the people here 1,000 years ago had, because that's the part of the environment that has changed the least.
Very little light pollution, high elevation at 6,200 feet, and dry air create the perfect combination for stargazing at Chaco Canyon. Soon, we hope you can again visit the incredible Tent Rocks National Monument. It's been closed since the pandemic began. The National Monument is famous for its unique cone-shaped formations. These rocks generated from volcanic eruptions 6 to 7 million years ago. It's a nice, easier hike as well. To Los Alamos now, where you can hike to ancestral ruins. Bandelier National Monument's history goes back more than 10,000 years, when ancestral Pueblo people built these settlements across 30,000 acres. Today, their villages, dwellings, and petroglyphs remain for a short or long hike through history. The monument was signed into creation by President Woodrow Wilson. That was in 1916. And that connection to history makes this state so special. It may be best represented by our pueblos. Taos Pueblo, over 1,000 years old, is one of the oldest in the country. It's also quite a sight, being the only Native American community designated as a World Heritage Site and National Historic Landmark. Taos has a lot to offer. That was something our Kaylin Norwood discovered. Here's her experience.
So my favorite place to celebrate New Mexico is in Taos. I just really enjoyed it. I like the artist community and just how walkable that town is. And I went there for a quick trip, was there less than 24 hours, but to me it was just so worth it. Brought my pup Kobe along with me, and as soon as we got there, we went to the plaza, of course. It was something that was open and, you know, he could walk around as well. Went to a couple of the shops, and I saw kind of at the end this chocolate shop, which I'm a big chocolate fan, so this is important for me. Unfortunately, they were about to close, but I'm sure once they saw us eyeing all those treats, and especially my little pup Kobe's, you know, puppy dog eyes, they decided to let us in. It was so nice of them. I got some treats, he got some chocolate-free treats, so he wasn't left out in that fun. It was just an overall a good experience. And then at the end of the day, we capped it off, or I should say I capped it off, with some New Mexican food, which was just absolutely delicious. And honestly, the next day, just got up, got a cup of coffee, and walked my dog to the Kit Carson Park. It was just a gorgeous day that day. Blue skies, people out and about walking around. After that, we went to the John Dunn house shops as well. These shops are so cute. I mean, I just love the architecture there. Local boutique shops, and so if you haven't been there, you have to go check them out. Even if you just walk around, it's totally worth it. So overall, I just like how they support local artists as well as the businesses there. And a plus side, they're also very dog friendly. So all the dog owners out there, you can relate with me on that one. I'll definitely be back.
Lots of delicious things to try in Taos, and there's more across the state. We're tracing back our palates and how New Mexican food and drink became such a key and spicy part of our lives. And all aboard, it's not just about the destination, but how we get there. From trains, cars, and hot air balloons, we're here for the ride and the friends we meet along the way, even if they look a little different. Celebrate New Mexico continues next. the land of enchantment, full of so many sights, sounds, and meals. And so far, we've just scratched the surface. Welcome back. I'm Todd Kurtz, here celebrating New Mexico. Now, sometimes how we get to these fun places is the best part. And there is one central route just perfect for cruising to get through New Mexico and beyond. Talking about Route 66, of course. Also called the Mother Road, Will Rogers Highway, or Main Street of America. Established back in 1926 as the fastest route from Chicago to Los Angeles. About 535 miles pass through our state, from Tucumcari to Santa Rosa through Albuquerque and Gallup. The route was once filled with restaurants and trading posts. Today you can still find some small shops along the way. New Mexico has 25 scenic byways. One of the most well-known, the Turquoise Trail. The 50-mile stretch goes from the backside of Albuquerque up to Santa Fe, features pit stops in old mining towns like Madrid. Just remember to stop and grab some ice cream as you check out the art and meet the locals.
I've had people that have been to other cities and say, oh, the people are so friendly here.
My favorite thing about Madrid is that it is a true community of people who care about one another.
The Turquoise Trail has become very popular with motorcyclists and car clubs with a nice, slower pace and smooth curves. It'll take you a good 25 minutes longer than interstate to reach Santa Fe, but you may enjoy the pace and the beauty that's back there. For a truly unique ride, why not head north to Chama, close to the Colorado border? Once used for the logging and mining industry 100+ years ago, the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad has taken visitors through New Mexico for 50 years. Their 5 coal-fired, steam-operated locomotives travel the narrow gauge, passing through places only accessible by rail. And it's especially remarkable to see this in the fall.
The scenery here in the fall is absolutely spectacular. It's kind of a time capsule. You come ride, we take you out well away from houses and other things and take you through some wilderness areas.
The full ride is 64 miles. You cross the Colorado-New Mexico state line 11 times, plus it's relaxing, traveling at just 12 miles per hour. It's a trip through time, to say the least, and anchor Sasha Leninger just took that ride.
My favorite way to celebrate New Mexico was riding the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad. It was the beginning of fall, the leaves were starting to change, and we saw all these photos on Instagram from their account, and we thought, hey, what better way to bring in the fall, the season, than riding the railroad and checking out all the fall colors. Going up there, the air is fresh. Getting on the train is an experience of itself. All of the staff are so knowledgeable about everything, how the train works. If you have any of those questions, and trust me, I had a lot of questions for them. But they do have an open cart in the back, which I spent most of my time in. There's no roof, and you can get the full experience of New Mexico there. So for several hours and several miles, you know, the full trip, 64 miles or so, we spent it, 4 of us, in that open cart, taking in the yellows, the greens, the oranges, the reds. It was beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. And you pass through these small towns, these small villages of just a couple of homes there. And every time you go by, someone's waving at you. Now, won't forget, when we finished, we got off the train and they had a moment where a couple of us were able to go up to the front of the train and see the coal engine and how it works and how it operates. And for me, I thought that was amazing. I mean, I'm 31. And they're doing that for a lot of people who are a lot older than 5 or 6. So I think the best way to probably celebrate New Mexico is riding that train.
Lots of alternative modes of transportation here. New Mexico is revered worldwide for being the balloon capital of the world. The first time a human ever flew through the air was in a hot air balloon. That was nearly 250 years ago. Now, with events like the International Balloon Fiesta, hundreds are taking off each October, and anyone can hop in a basket.
It is amazing to get up there up in the air, to see the landscape from a different perspective and just enjoy the quiet and the peace and the tranquility of being up in the air. Fiesta is it's the big daddy of them all. It is one of the best. It's a premier hot air balloon event in the world.
Another thing that makes Albuquerque so unique for ballooning is the number of good days for flying. They take off well over 300 days a year in Albuquerque. New Mexico is full of rare, special wildlife, and one part of our state provides a special home for high-flying cranes. Let's head to Bosque del Apache. So I can hear the birds in the background right now. And let me just start by saying you do not have to be an avid birder or bird watcher to really appreciate what's going on down here at Bosque della Pace. The scenery alone, as you can see from behind me, is absolutely breathtaking. But yes, the wildlife, that's spectacular. And here's the most popular resident, the sandhill crane. It's a huge bird, 4 to 5 feet tall. They mate for life with a partner, dance around when they're grounded, and often call to one another.
So as you sit here and you're watching them, they'll be dancing with each other. Their wings will be spread, their legs, they'll hop up and down, and they're constantly calling. And it is just, I don't know how to describe the sound. It's prehistoric, but it speaks to my soul, and I think it speaks to the soul of all of our visitors.
It's why photographers flock here. And not just for the cranes, but wide variety of birds and wildlife that make the waters along the Rio Grande home. Bosque della Pace is a national wildlife refuge founded in 1939. It's a little south of Socorro. There are 57,000 acres to explore. And you're sure to meet some fascinating humans too, like Toby Clement, a professional artist here on her birthday. She frequents down here for the tranquility and scenery that she paints and then sells at Contemporary Gallery in Santa Fe. And if you want your own masterpiece, get here at dawn for what they call the flyout. As the sun rises, the cranes and snow geese get active and lift off in incredible numbers and collective force.
As they start to lift off, you can feel it. They're all calling, you hear the calls. The calls can be so loud that you can actually feel it on your insides.
Now, if you want to see that spectacle, tens of thousands of birds lifting off at once, best time to visit Bosque della Pace would be December or January. And the Jemez Mountains are home to a spectacular wildlife preserve. Valles Caldera, created from a volcanic eruption 1 million years ago, has a score of wildlife. Thanks to its meadows and streams, it welcomes elk, prairie dogs, badgers, coyotes, black bear, and plenty of birds. You can embrace your inner safari in southern New Mexico, where an African antelope called an oryx is thriving. 95 of them were released at White Sands Missile Range between 1969 and 1977 to provide big game hunting in New Mexico. Today, there are thousands in this region.
It's actually a better environment here than it is in Africa. There's more water, the terrain is a little bit better, and vegetation.
And it's actually a really big creature. We're talking 2 to 3 times larger than a mule deer, 4 feet tall to the shoulder, and horns that can reach 3 feet long. So all in all, we're talking about something that's way over my head at 6'2". Now, one creature that instantly grabs a lot of attention, often scares many people, I'm talking about rattlesnakes. But I found one group that absolutely loves them and tells me these rattlers, they're just misunderstood. So we are out here in rural New Mexico doing some rattlesnake wrangling. Well, the experts are doing the wrangling. I am just standing in the background, an enthusiastic observer today. Let's get up close and meet our Celebrate New Mexico subject. Come on out, little guy. Oh yeah, lovely face. Well, for a rattlesnake. My guide is Bob Myers.
You should be out in the sun there, bud.
You may know him as the owner of the Rattlesnake Museum in Old Town Albuquerque. He let me tag along as he checked on the welfare of a couple of dens in eastern New Mexico, and he also released a few rattlesnakes caught near people's homes. We had to ask, why is he so fond of rattlesnakes?
My case for loving them is that they are important predators. People forget that about the snakes, that they need to be out here. They're controlling rodent populations that we would have a lot bigger problem with left unchecked.
He is very calm around the snakes. There are 10 different kinds of rattlesnakes in New Mexico. We are around the western diamondback on this trip, the largest rattlesnake species in our state, and a noisy one, quick to sound off if you get near.
They tend to be a little more defensive. We don't use the word aggressive or aggression or attack.
Bob says these snakes are misunderstood. They do not attack you. They're trying to get away from you to protect themselves. but yes, obviously can bite if you get too close. In 2018, New Mexico Poison Information Center said there were 72 snake bites in the state, and half of them would not happen if victims just avoided the snake.
I tell people not to run from rattlesnakes. There's no reason for that. The snakes feel threatened by us. They're not going to come towards us. They're going to keep their distance. They might get defensive, like this one is, rattling a little bit, but she is not going to come after me.
So, do you love them yet? Maybe it's a work in progress. And I also want to add, I was very scared going into that story, but I had a change of heart after that experience. I found the rattlesnake's behavior very predictable, that being all defensive, not attacking, nor coming at the human ever. They're always just moving away. But let's get to something we can all agree on, our desirable food and drink scene. And chili, green or red, no arguments here, is an integral part of that. In the town of Hatch, you'll find fields filled with that beautiful green crop. It's been grown here for at least 4 centuries and is critical for a number of hot dishes. And our food scene is worldly, too. That diversity in food, that is highlighted best in our state's capital. A very well-known chef sums it up best. Time magazine just ranked Santa Fe as one of the greatest places in the entire world. They talked about the history, the arts, the culture, the museums. But come on now, don't forget about that world-class food. This beautiful display is at the restaurant Clafouti. It's a town filled with diverse restaurants from all around the world. African, Indian, Asian, Spanish, you name it. And of course, countless great New Mexican spots.
Santa Fe is a city of incredible professional food people.
We talked with Cheryl Alters Jamison for more perspective. She's a 4-time James Beard Award-winning cookbook author. That's essentially the Oscars of the food world. She has 20 cookbooks.
One of the things I love about Santa Fe is that we have this amazing traditional New Mexican cuisine, and we have that tradition with an overlay of a very worldly number of restaurants and chefs from around the world.
A couple of Cheryl's favorite dishes. That's the lobster roll at Santa Cafe. Ooh, omakase dinner at Sushi Sue. And the compound's chicken schnitzel. Lots to choose from. There are 400 restaurants in our capital city.
The restaurants, the quality, the number of them, it's really remarkable. You know, it's equivalent of a major city, but in our very small and attractive package.
So the name of this French restaurant is Clafouti, and the name of this beautiful dessert right here is a Clafouti. I think I better eat this one. And to tell you the truth, I actually ate 2 Clafoutis that day. Santa Fe is also known for fine dining as well. TripAdvisor just ranked Geronimo and Saison in the top 12 fine dining restaurants in the entire country, 2 of them in Santa Fe. So, got more room for dessert now? Go to Pie Town. Yes, I said that correctly, Pie Town. You'll find the delicious spot between Magdalena and Quemado on the western part of the state. The town was established in the 1920s by Clyde Norman, naming it after a bakery. Today, the Pioneer Pie Shop still is baking everything from scratch. Of course, you can find classic flavors, but for something truly New Mexican, you have to try the green chili apple pie. And don't forget to stop by for the Pie Festival every September for the pie eating contest. Now, all of this talk about food is making me thirsty. Lucky for us, New Mexico has a long history with vino. We are home to one of the oldest wine-producing regions in the entire country. Take a sip. Yeah, we're down just outside of Las Cruces here. How sweet is this? Glass of wine, got the Organ Mountains in the background, the fountain. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, let's learn about some New Mexican wine right now. Cheers. We're visiting Rio Grande Winery, a small to medium-sized operation. They have about 30 acres of vines that produce around 3,000 cases of wine a year.
It's exciting times for New Mexico wine.
Richard McDonald says, surprisingly, the challenge of growing grapes in New Mexico is the cold. Yeah, an early freeze can ruin next year's crop. But when it does produce, if you're a wine connoisseur, you're sure to taste the difference here compared to the more well-known California wines.
In our white wines, we get a touch of saltiness, which comes from the soil here. We're in a very alkaline type soil. And then Our reds also kind of have a dusty character to them, which, you know, it's kind of like the desert of the Southwest is coming through in these wines.
And this is a region with deep history of growing grapes. What is now New Mexico is the oldest wine-producing region in the entire country.
Part of what we're doing here is we're figuring out the story of New Mexico wine. It has such a long history of over 400 years, but we're still figuring it out.
Yes, 400 years. The Spanish started producing wine here in 1629, mostly for Catholic communion. Since then, the vines have had their ups and downs. It really started to be commercialized in the late 1970s. And now, tens of thousands of gallons of New Mexican wine are produced every year.
We're just proud to be part of that story, you know. This story is going to be going much longer than we're here. We're like guardians of the land right now.
There are more than 40 vineyards and wineries in New Mexico. Now, New Mexico, home of the spectacular but also a spooky past. Are you brave enough to stay at a haunted hotel? And a growing space hub is making its home in our state right now. How it all began and how it's going where no state has gone before. That's next. But first, this from one of our partners.
New Mexico. Some folks branded you impossible. But the impossible is happening. The Lew Wallace curse, a hollow afterthought. As we harness our fiery spirit to say, you've got it wrong, and I'll show you why. Millions passed through this land for gold and opportunity. But those few who stayed to build what we have now, they drive us forward, and our spirit remains. What is the spirit? It's the 4 a.m. wake-up call, the first steps onto the land, boots muddied from the dew of the morning, then dried to dust in the 3 p.m. heat. It's taking help from those willing to give it, to be home for supper every night, and watch as your child washes down their green chili, knowing that mom's hands brought this to the table. There is Penny Staja soil absorbed into the palms of our hands that tells a story, not a story of curses. This is a story of blessings. Your spirit remains. The packer, grower, harvester, rancher, father, mother, future leaders. This is a land that gives back what you put in, and we benefit from those who gave us their spirit. New Mexico agriculture grows stronger because of the choices you make every day. Shop local. Support farmers and ranchers. Listen to the wisdom passed down. The impossible happens here because no matter what, our spirit remains.
Welcome back. Tonight we are also celebrating our state's rich space history. Over at White Sands Missile Range in the 1920s, the first rocket fuel test. 1954, a sled powered by the stuff reached 632 miles per hour. 1963, engines for the Apollo mission were fired up to ensure they were safe to head to the stars. And in 1982, Space Shuttle Columbia touched down because of bad weather in California. At nearby Holloman Air Force Base, space chimps were trained, and today Ham, the first chimpanzee launched into space, is honored at the New Mexico Museum of Space History. In Albuquerque, training for our nation's very first human astronauts, Dr. Randall Lovelace ran a clinic to test the men and women for fitness to go to space. And more recently, at Spaceport America, Virgin Galactic successfully completed its first fully crewed flight to the edge of space. In Socorro County sits the Very Large Array, VLA for short. The Radio Astronomy Observatory is made up of 27 radio antennas and telescopes, and soon, maybe more. The facility uses those large antennas to collect radio signals. They even discovered signals from galaxies 5 billion light years away. Our climate apparently is just ideal for the VLA, with very little humidity to distort radio waves. New Mexico has a colorful past with what some believe to be extraterrestrial visitors. You head to Roswell to see that. With plenty of art and museums, the city is a hub for conspiracy. It's the site of the famous 1947 crash of a U.S. Army Air Forces balloon, which many thought and still believe was actually a UFO. Roswell even inspired a TV show which films here. Sure, there's lots of unknowns when it comes to space activity, but there are just as many with reports of the paranormal in our state. And a lot of our ghost stories are connected to the Wild West. That includes at the St. James Hotel in Cimarron. Think you got what it takes to handle a poker game at the old St. James Hotel. See, a winning hand may get you a few poker chips, but in the past, it cost some men their life. And rumor has it, their ghosts are still around today. The St. James Hotel in Cimarron was built in 1872, originally called Lambert's Inn. It went up at a time when law and order were non-existent. The saloon, restaurant, and 43 rooms were witness to dozens of murders. It was the Wild West.
It sure was. We have still existing at least 26 bullet holes in the ceiling of the saloon that date back to the turn of the 19th and 20th century, and at least 26 murders that we do know of here.
And we spotted this painting in the hallway, an original from around the time the hotel opened. And yes, another bullet hole. Shortly after opening in the late 1800s, the saloon quickly gained a reputation as a place of violence. And to this day, employees say ghosts are around.
I've even heard as much as conversations and spurred footsteps walking around in the saloon area with nobody here.
Because of the history, the ghosts, and the beautiful, historically kept renovations, the St. James is a popular spot to spend the night. They have 13 rooms, all named after well-known characters of the Wild West. Cost anywhere from $115 to $200 a night. They get a lot of requests from people hoping to witness the paranormal.
The most aggressive thing I've ever had happen is a door slam. Of course, that I think would startle anybody, but it's mostly mischievous.
So room 18 of this hotel is the only one that remains locked, and that is because there's an ill-tempered ghost in there, TJ's ghost. So that is Thomas James Wright. Legend has it that Thomas James Wright won the deed to the hotel in the 1880s after a game of poker. Well, he was then shot and killed at this doorstep. Historic Hotels of America have recognized 2 Santa Fe hotels as the top most haunted in the country. Those honors go to La Posada de Santa Fe, where the ghost of the wife who built the mansion is said to have roamed the halls since 1896. And La Fonda on the Plaza was also listed because a Chief Justice was shot in the lobby in 1867. Also, they do say a distraught salesman who jumped into the hotel well has been seen emerging from a fountain there. We've fallen away from the fall and into the magic of New Mexico during the winter. Coming up, the history, lights, and love the holiday season has to offer here. As we celebrate our state through the seasons, there is so much that is special about the time we're in now. No matter what you celebrate, there is something for everyone. El Santuario de Chimayo lights up this time of year, the chapel filled with art and farolitos. This place is best known during Holy Week, when people from all over make the pilgrimage to reflect and use the sacred dirt for healing. Something key for celebrating the holiday season: lights, and New Mexico has a lot of them. Across the state, we're recognizing and celebrating how they bring cheer, starting in Carlsbad.
Man, there's nothing like this time of year. Hopping in the car with the family, driving around, seeing all the Christmas displays. Well, down here in Carlsbad, they take it up a notch. They have a true river of lights. You hop on a boat, cruise the river, see some fantastic displays in people's backyards.
Right here in Carlsbad, New Mexico, we have what we call Christmas on the Pecos.
And just look at how cool this is. The Chamber of Commerce is thrilled to have the event back for its 30th year. They have more than 100 displays.
We made it bigger, we made it better, and we made it a lot brighter.
It's about a 45-minute ride, 1 mile down and back. You take big 65-seat pontoon-like boats. All the homeowners either decorate themselves or they get a sponsor to come out and set up the display. Extra special to this community this year, as the event was canceled last year because of the pandemic.
Kids were going to school online. There was all kinds of, just it seemed like chaos. This year we get to be out here again. And nothing makes you dream more than being able to see those twinkling lights on a river.
Just remember to bring a jacket. It can get a little chilly on the boat, but all part of the ambiance. It's a little gem lighting up the southeastern part of our state. The River of Lights is just as magical in Albuquerque. Since 1997, the River of Lights began as a fundraiser for the biopark. Visitors are surrounded by 600 stunning holiday displays. It has even been voted as one of USA Today's 10 best botanical garden holiday lights in the country. From winter to spring to summer and fall, there is no shortage of ways to celebrate New Mexico. We've made it our mission to explore what is so wonderful about the land of enchantment, but there is so much left to see. Next year, I'll be heading back on the road, and that's not all. An even bigger celebration as our state turns 110. And throughout 2022, we will introduce you to the people, places, history, and culture that make New Mexico so very special. You do not want to miss this party. I'm Todd Kurtz. Thank you so much for joining us as we celebrate New Mexico.